What if I told you that your smartphone is both draining your brain power and hindering your relationships? Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's true. And there are a number of alarming studies that prove it. Hello, and welcome to Positive Loitering, a series designed to help you harness science-backed insights from positive psychology to enjoy greater satisfaction and sustainable success in your life and law practice. My name is Jordana Confino, and I am delighted to be accompanying you on this journey. Starting with the relationship piece, we all know how it feels to be engaging with someone who's got one eye on their phone. It doesn't feel good. So it may not surprise you to hear that regular technoference, or the everyday disruptions our devices have on our interactions, is linked with lower relationship satisfaction and reduced overall well-being. But I bet you will be surprised to learn that the research also shows that even the mere presence of our phones, even if we're not using or looking at them, can harm the quality of our relationships and social interactions. In one series of studies, participants were broken into groups of 2 and instructed to have a conversation over coffee. Afterwards, they were asked to respond to a series of statements designed to measure the quality of the connection they experienced during the chat, as well as the extent to which they felt heard and understood by their conversation partner. The researchers found that if either participant had their phone on the table during the interaction, even if it was face down and neither person looked at it, the quality of the conversation was rated as being less fulfilling compared with discussions that took place in the absence of a mobile device. In a similar study, researchers found that simply having a phone present during significant conversations leads to lower ratings of trust, perceived partner empathy, and relationship quality. Think about the impact that this tiny change could have on the quality of your relationships with clients as well as with your friends and family members. So that's the social impact of our smartphones. Now, let's look at how they're making us stupid. As an initial matter, there are the more predictable effects of explicit virtual distractions. In a recent series of studies conducted in the UK, Dr. Glenn Wilson found that employees' IQ dropped by 10 points when they tried to juggle message checking with their other work responsibilities. That's the equivalent of missing a whole night's sleep and more than double the IQ point drop caused by smoking marijuana. Before beginning the tests, participants were randomly instructed to turn their smartphones on silent and to place them either face down on the desk in front of them, in their pocket or in a personal bag beside them, or in an entirely different room. The researchers found that the participants who put their phones in another room significantly outperformed participants who kept their phones on their desk, and that participants who kept their phones in their bag or pocket fell between the other 2 groups in terms of their cognitive performance. That is, there appeared to be a direct correlation between the distance of the participants' phones and the drain on their cognitive capacity. In other words, when it came to their phones, out of sight really did seem to be out of mind. Reflecting on these observations, the researchers concluded that the mere presence of our phones reduces brain power and impairs functioning, even when we believe we're focusing fully on the task at hand. As one researcher explained, although we aren't consciously thinking about our phones, the implicit process of resisting the urge to think about them depletes our mental resources and effectively serves as a brain drain. Kind of terrifying, right? Especially for lawyers who've come to both expect and accept near constant connectivity. So what can we do with this information? Well, I'll tell you what I'm not going to tell you to do, since I'm sure it would send many of you running for the hills. I'm not going to tell you to do a full digital detox or unplug for days or even hours on end, though if you want to, all the more power to you. But I am going to urge you to commit to regularly putting your phone away for even small pockets of time when you're trying to either focus on an important task or meaningfully connect. Now, if your immediate response is, well, that's simply not possible because I am paid to be constantly on, I want you to ask yourself, has there ever been a 10-minute window when you were out of pocket when you went to the bathroom? Or what about a 30 or even 60-minute window when you were unreachable because you were in court or meeting with an important client? What happened? And what's the worst thing that could happen now if you were to put your phone away for that duration? Especially if you were to allow for override phone call accessibility for true emergency contacts. Chances are the expectations and stakes surrounding your immediate availability are not quite as stringent as your brain might lead you to believe. And the beauty of this strategy is that it doesn't actually require any extra time. Just courage, willpower, and a commitment to begin taking steps to curb your smartphone addiction. Now, I recognize that this actually is an addiction, and as such, it will likely be seriously uncomfortable to get started. But I promise you that once you recognize the mental clarity and heightened sense of connection you enjoy when you untether from your devices, it will give you the momentum and the motivation that you need to keep at it. I hope you will join me for our next episode. Until then, take care, friend.